to the show.
You know, there's show business, and then there's, real. Every once in a while, you meet a real human being that touches your heart, above and beyond the talent. What a tragedy.
Gene, thanks so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. Clearly a heavy heart tonight at losing your friend, Eddie Van Halen. What did Eddie mean to you?
I don't even think it's fair to say my friend. I saw them as a new band that I'd never heard of. I was invited to go see them at a place called the Starwood, 1977, something like that. And I was upstairs in the "Oh, You're So Special" area, and people were coming over for autographs. And then I heard this astonishing sound, the guitars. It just sounded like 3 or 4 guitar players all playing at the same time. What is that? And melodic. And in harmony, too. And I went to the front, and I saw this guy, like, tapping away on his guitar, which I'd never seen before. And, of course, the lead singer's defying gravity, flying in the air, and the great Alex on drums and Michael on bass, but this one guitar was making all this sound, and I'd never heard anything like that. And I have to say, today was kind of heartbreaking, not just for myself, but for millions and millions of fans Van Halen's had over the years, and for so many guitar players that Eddie influenced.
I want to ask you about, do you have a favorite moment with Eddie? Since you were there in the beginning.
I was just honored and lucky enough to be there to witness the greatness before it exploded on the world. Okay, I was in the studio with them. I produced their demo, I, all about me, which is what I usually do. I saw a more powerful than a speeding bullet, able to leap tall buildings. I saw it. I didn't discover Superman. He was always there. I just happened to be there when they exploded on the scene. Nobody's been like them. To this day, when I was a kid and I heard Jimi Hendrix for the first time, I just went, okay, Earth has changed. Not since Jimi Hendrix has anybody had that effect.
Do you have a favorite memory with Eddie?
Yeah, Kiss was in the studio. And Van Halen had already become a very big band. And Eddie was unhappy within the band. Every band goes through that. And Eddie called and said that he wanted to come down and to tell me that he wasn't happy with some members in the band. Doesn't matter. And he wanted to join Kiss. And I said, no, you're not going to do that. Let's go have lunch and we're going to talk about this thing. And he was so unhappy with, the personalities within the band. Sometimes it's good, sometimes not. And he just couldn't take it anymore. You can't leave the band. It's called Van Halen. You're the main songwriter in the band, and it's your band. You gotta do that. And he didn't. And he stuck it out. Before he left, he sat the rest of the guys in Kiss down, Paul, myself, the rest of the guys in the band. Hey, let me play you this thing we just did. Bum, ba, dum, bum, da, da, dum, bum, ba, ba, da, da, da. Going, well, that's cool. What is that? A synthesizer? He goes, yeah, it's called, Jump. Oh, that's cool, great. Hey, when are you going to add the lead guitar and the guitars? He goes, no, that's it. You're Van Halen, you're going to release a synth. I got to tell you, he knew it. The rest of us were just in the peanut gallery waiting. Hey, where's the same old stuff?
What would you say will be Eddie's lasting legacy, especially in music and especially for guitarists?
The Greeks had a phrase for it, to thine own self be true. The great runners, who are speed past you, Bolt and everybody else, they don't look over their shoulder to see who else is running or who's beside them. They speed along their own way at their own speed. That's what makes them a champion. Eddie respected everybody else, but he was his own guy to the end. And I don't even have the right to make an assessment. I'm not part of the Van Halen family. I just happened to see as the greatness sort of passed me by.
Mm.
And, I saw them when they were like little kids. I saw that. It's, it's still heartbreaking. I don't know what to say.
But Eddie really was one of those guys who could do it all. There was nothing that was, it seemed like there was nothing he couldn't do. He also was beloved in Hollywood. He was one of those rockers that also could immerse himself in Hollywood. He was married to Valerie for so long, and people in Hollywood seemed to embrace and love him too.
But Eddie was unaffected by that. As you can well imagine, the red carpet and you guys with your cameras and stuff, Eddie never cared about that stuff. Okay, so my wife's, on a sitcom and stuff. That's cool. Hey, how you doing? Very matter of fact. It's humbling. He could teach all of us a lesson in just how to, relax, be a human being first, above and beyond what you do.
I want to ask you about Van Halen as a band, and when they rose, and they eventually would become the #1 band in the world for a while there, and that was driven by that monstrous sound that Eddie could make, those crazy sounds that could come out of that guitar, and people marveled at him. But you mentioned it, he still remained this humble and simple guy, despite the fact that he was this massive rock star.
He was unaffected and could care less about the fame. Eddie was always just kind of Eddie and wasn't trying to impress anybody. And it's humbling. He could outplay anybody and never had the airs of okay, watch out, here I come. None of that stuff. It's got to be heartbreaking for the family. My heart goes out. Prayers to his family, friends, and of course his millions of fans. I would urge everybody out there who knows Gen Z kids and millennials, grab him by the ear, pull him over to something called a record player, and let him hear Van Halen.
Hey, Gene, I want to also ask you about this battle for Eddie has been going on for quite some time. He was even traveling to Europe. Were you keeping up with him as he was traveling, and what exactly was he fighting against?
Eddie, despite the fact that he got the most horrible disease out there, cancer, I wasn't there to see it personally, but out on the street, because I ran into him a few times, even after he got the cancer scare, and he'd greet you with an open smile like he didn't have a care in the world. The phrase "God bless him" is aptly directed at Eddie. There's show business, and then there's real. Every once in a while you meet a real human being that touches your heart above and beyond the talent. What a tragedy.
How amazing was it that he got to spend those years traveling with Wolfgang, his son, and he was part of the band, and those two were together, and you have, your son, your brother right behind you, and you're playing the music you love. What did that mean to Eddie?
I'm sure for the Van Halen family, it must have been a great source of pride. Alex, Eddie, and Wolfie in the same band. That's what family is everything at the end of the day. And to see your son, and as a bass player, I know the good stuff. That kid's got the goods, and you watch the whole band on stage rocking out, and it's got to be a source of pride.
Listen, Gene, thank you so much for talking about about Eddie and what he meant to the world, because today we did lose a genius and an originator, an icon of the music world, and there will be no one else who will ever innovate like Eddie.
More importantly for me, a real beautiful soul. That's his biggest achievement.